YouTube, what is up? It's your man, it's your man Ryan. This is part two of the Beverly Hills reunion. We just did part one. I'm combining the two on my podcast because it was a BravoCon and didn't get to do it last week, but we're splitting up the YouTube videos. So hi, hello, how are you? If you just finished watching part one, it's me again the same night. We're doing it all over again. These ladies are exhausting. Are you ready to finish this out strong? And then we just got next week and then we're done. I feel like we're close to like finals and you're going to your parents' house like for the holidays after finals, and we just got to push through. And so where we ended was Diana was like, I did not do anything to you. What is Garcelle? And Garcelle's like, literally leave me alone. And it looks like Diana's reading off a teleprompter. Very cool. Also, let me talk to you about the show real quick. This will be my last show ever as a podcast. No, I'm joking. Wouldn't that be funny? If you like the show, please leave it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you like it a little more than that, thank you. Join the Patreon for $5 a month. You get access to, it's like 260 other podcast things that have never been on the main feed. Truly insane. Plus, we're going to start be doing live shows in the new year. Yeah. So I'm sure you'll get access to those. There's a lot of exciting things coming up. Please be a part of this. We've been doing this for 3 years and it's starting to really pay off. And I know these are long forms and they really intimidate people, but that's why it's really important to tell people about this and get people used to it. You know what I do is I like to strap people down and just make them listen until they're like, yeah, I'll listen on my own. And then I'm like, okay, you can get up and go back to your normal life. But until then, you got to really make sure they agree to that. No, I'm kidding, of course, but these are long form. I hit every sentence, even when it's dreadfully boring what these ladies said. That first part, I was like, if you saw just an hour ago, I was like, oh my God, I can't talk about crystal and what the meaning of dark is. And like I was starting to glaze over, so I had to like run in the kitchen and slap myself really hard and then drink a Diet Coke. And now I'm back and let's finish this off strong because I want to listen to the Taylor Swift album, and it's 12 a.m. and everybody's already online talking about it, and I feel like a real nerd. I mean, I feel like a nerd anyways, but like I want to be a cool guy and listen to the Taylor Swift album. So let's finish this off. Part 2 of a 3-part reunion. Once again, Juliana Carraza took the notes for this, and she just killed it all season long. Thank you. And if you want to be a note taker, I have a couple of great ones right now. Juliana is always going to be my number one, but Laura Beth Harp has been killing it also over on our Salt Lake notes. And you're going to be hearing 2 episodes of a Salt Lake recap this next week. Plus, I talked to a podcast guest today that I'm just shocked I got to talk to. And I think you'll be shocked to listen to. And I think I talked really fast because I was so excited, but I think you're going to have a lot of laughs. I can't wait to play this for you next week. It's somebody you might not be expecting me to talk to. That's right. Kanye West. Would it be great if I have like a 3-hour? I'm like, Kanye, yeah, we'll talk about your thing, but would you watch the season finale of Beverly Hills and just talk shop with me? Yeah, of course. Wouldn't that be great if he's like, oh, because he'd be like, now, Diana, she's cool. She gets it. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 12, episode 23, reunion part 2 summary. This is what the cable company puts out to let us know if we're flipping by. We're like, hey, do I want to watch this show? Let's see what it's about. This is for people that have never seen the show before. So they're like, it says, as the reunion continues, Garcelle and Diana hit a point of no return in their already frayed friendship. So if I've never seen this show before, do I read that sentence and go, okay, yeah, I want to see a point of no return. By the way, I feel like I've hit that point of no return about 10 episodes ago. Sutton reflects on her ongoing tension with Lisa. Always, I'm a big fan of reflection. Garcelle discovers the trashy truth behind Erica's book review. Now that's clever, you guys, the trashy truth, because we'll find out later that the Garcelle book was thrown in the trash. So they did, it's funny. And then Andy says, tonight, it's part 2 of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. We do a preview of all the scenes that you're going to see. We're not going to do that because we're smart people. We don't need to do that. We're going to go over all these scenes already. The show reopens with Garcelle from last time going, I don't hate you, Diana. I just want to be left alone. I don't want you posting about me. I don't want you harassing me on social media. I haven't harassed anyone here on social media. Sorry, guys. One last thing I want to say for the people watching on YouTube and for the people that don't, go over and subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. Like, we're almost at 3,000 subscribers, which is really great. Once I hit 5,000 subscribers, I'm going to eat a raw onion. And you're like, who cares? I'll eat a raw onion every day. But this is why you should care. I fucking hate raw onions, right? So now you're like, that's like the already frayed relationship thing I just said. Like, I want to see an already frayed relationship. Don't you want to see a man who hates eating onions eat a raw onion? Isn't that worth a subscription to YouTube? You don't have to pay for it even. You just hit subscribe, you smash that subscribe button and a like button, and then you see a grown man with a weird mustache eating a raw onion. That's fucking performance art. Like literally you can do that. Like, sign me up for that. But listen, I don't want to do it. But I'm telling you, if I get to 5,000 subscribers, and it looks like we probably will at some point, I'm going to eat a raw onion and it's going to be filmed and you're going to watch it and you're going to see how much I hate raw onions and how it really makes me sick. So it's like my reality show version of Jackass. Okay, so back to the show. Diana's like, did you not go and call me evil? And Garcelle's like, I called you evil because of what you said to her, pointing at Sutton. And I love that Sutton has sat the first part of the reunion kind of in silence, but everybody's talked about her. Crystal was like, I didn't say she said something racist. I just said it was dark. And Sutton's like, I'm just in here minding my P's and Q's. Who knows, you know? And Dinah's like, do you know what evil looks like? And I'm like, yeah, we all see Lisa Rinna. She's right there. We all see her. And then Andy goes, was it after you called Sutton the see you next Tuesday word? And we cut to a scene in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after show. They do an after show, you guys. I always think this is such a big mistake because you can find it online and it's really good. It's more information. And it's like, they need to fucking make this its own TV show. This is the stuff I'm curious about. Like, why is it because you're trying to build your web brand, Bravo? Like, because I think this would make a great TV show, a great after show on the actual network. Remember they used to do the Vanderpump Rules after show with Brandy Howard and Julie Goldman, who were just on the pod last week. Like, they did that and it was after the episode. And I was like, I loved that so much. I'm such a talk show freak. I wish more people appreciated talk shows like some of us do, you know? So we cut to that scene. Interviewer goes, things in Aspen became explosive between Sutton and Diana. And Garcelle goes, oh, she was evil. And Diana, we're back in this, goes, which is the harsher word, C word or evil? And Andy's like, the C word. And Erica's like, really? And then he goes, is it harsher than calling somebody evil? And then he goes, you think that calling someone evil is worse than calling someone the C word? And Rinna goes, well, I call myself evil. Yeah, we all do. And Erica's like, I think evil's much worse. And Dorit's like, oh yeah. And Andy goes, oh, okay. I agree with Andy, but I'm not a woman. So I have the taste of one, but I'm not a woman. So I personally, like, I don't have to spell out the E word. I can just say evil, but I can't say the C word. Like, I can, but it's uncouth, as Sutton would say. I have to say the see you next Tuesday word because I don't want to say it because it's such a harsh word. And I'm a dude. And when a dude even said, like, I think that's even worse, but evil, I'll say all day and long, you know? I'll literally be like, oh, this hangnail is evil, you know, like, but I won't be like, this hangnail's a fucking see you next Tuesday. So we're going to disagree again. And Diana goes, so I'm soulless, motherfucker, evil. And Garcelle goes, I did not call you soulless and begging you. And Andy goes, Sutton called you soulless. And Garcelle goes, you can't talk to her. And Sutton's like, yeah. And Andy's like, Sutton, is there something that you want to clear up or say to Diana if she were here today? And Sutton's like, oh, I don't need to clear anything up. I say, no, I mean, I think we're very clear on our non-relationship. Listen, I sweated all over Sutton and we didn't have a good interaction. Romance doesn't seem to be in our cards, which is just like, you missed out, dude. I own a Toyota Corolla. I lease it, but like there's an option to buy. So I'm just saying, like, and I could keep it pretty much clean. So you missed out on that, girl. That's like your lot. Like, and when you're crying at your mansion and I'm at the place I rent, you know, like, just think about how you treated me. BravoCon. Just think you made a mistake, girl. That's all I'm saying. I'm the bad boy of podcasting. You ever go on the 405 freeway like 2 a.m. on a Corolla? You drive like 70 miles per hour. Woo, baby purrs. Sometimes I'll kick it up to 75 in an 80. Yeah. It's like bad boy. So Diana's like, Rinna makes giant eyes like she can't believe Sutton would have the nerve to say something like that to Diana. Like Sutton really has found her balls. I wish she'd find my ball. No. So, I want to get canceled on this one. Diana goes, I'm so disappointed right now. Which, by the way, she's in fucking Hawaii in her mansion. And I'm like, I want to be disappointed in my mansion in Hawaii right now. Because I'm really, really hurt to everything Garcelle said. I'm actually, and Garcelle laughs and is like, she just said something, but it's me. It's always me. And Diana's like, I'll put my right hand. And then she puts her left hand up at first. She goes, I'll put my right hand and I am putting it that I know that nobody in this group will go after your sweetheart son. The way she says sweetheart son. Sweetheart son. Not a chance. Not a chance. Jackson Garcelle brought it to our attention, but I'm sure this is happening on a daily basis. And yesterday I filed lawsuit in LA County and we'll get to the bottom of it. By the way, not a chance. I feel like that's like, why? It's like when Erica Jane on the last episode of the season was like, Sutton's like, hey, did you talk to Radar? Did you spill the guts? Did one of your people spill the guts to Radar online or whatever the shit that was? And Erica's like, I don't even know how to do that. Which is like, she just answered immediately. And we're like, we all know how to do that. How do you not know to do that? And I'm not saying Diana had anything to do with this, but I am saying it's just weird of like, not a chance, not a chance. I think there's at least a 5% chance. Like, there's a chance. What, are you kidding me? Yeah, there's a chance. Maybe not you in particular, but there's a chance. Like, that was just weird to me. We get a headline from Reality Burb. Diana Jenkins files lawsuit to reveal bots who attacked Garcelle's son claims cowards jeopardized reputation by blaming her. What reputation are we fucking doing? Because do you think billionaires are watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? I'm so confused about the reputation part because the reputation part had been around for a while. The Room 23 book rumors, if you read about them, and other shows have talked about them, and we're not going to do that here because, I own a Corolla and don't have money. But you know what I'm saying? Those rumors have been going on for a long time. Even when she got the show, I remember going, she's going to have to talk about that book. Like, I looked it up immediately. Just like the new Real Housewives of New York ladies, if you look them up, there's some wild things in their past. That's part of the gig. So I thought, like, she was ready to be faced with explaining some things. And it looks like she is not. And that's why I don't believe she will be invited back or wants to come back. So Dinah's like, we will find the truth and we will get justice for Jax. No 14-year-old should ever go through what he went through, which is true. Like, listen, Diana's right. No 14-year-old, like, fucking bots. Like, this is, and this is what the, our trauma economy, as I call it, we get off on this shit. And there's a, Instagram keeps these, do you ever go to Instagram accounts, you guys? You can find out real quickly if they've bought their followers. Their bot followers, B-O-T, but B-O-U-G-H-T, is just real quick. It's real easy. You'll be like, okay, they have 25,000 followers and they follow 500 people. And then you go look at one of their posts and it says 50 likes. They have bought their followers, or they hide the likes. Now, I'll hide my likes sometimes just because if it's a show post, the show posts get lower than my normal posts because the algorithm knows that you're trying to advertise something and you're not paying for it. So it automatically holds that back. Plus, not a lot of people just even give a shit about podcasts anyways. But I'll hide them sometimes even from myself because I don't want to get into the habit of chasing likes, if that makes sense. Hey, you guys, you're my new therapist. But you can tell really easily when somebody's bought their followers. Like, somebody was like talking shit. I think it was like a Freddie Mellencamp fan or something. And she's saying all these rude things on a post to me and other people on the post. And then I went to the account and I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, I just wrote back. I was like, why do you buy your followers? Like, this is cool, but like, why are you, it's like, earn your followers. Like, like, it's real easy to find out. And then you feel bad for those people. And I know like some of you guys probably bought your followers too, but you're nice people and all that, just like, be careful of the platform you have and never fucking like, we can make jokes about these people, but like never threaten harm, never attack a child. I mean, I feel like these are basic things that we all should know, yet we seem to keep having to remind ourselves. And I think that's just the state of the world is so intense now. is the line keeps getting pushed back further and further and further, that anything's game now. Do you notice that? Like the line used to be here and we've erased it. The next year it's here and we think that's normal. Next year we pushed it up here. And all the while it all started here. And we're like, how the fuck did this get to this? It used to be like this. Does that make sense? You know, we're like slowly chipping away at like kind of common decency. And we're just so used to screaming and yelling. I do it myself on this podcast all the time. And you just kind of get used to it, to the point where we're all yelling and we're all against each other. And it's like, this is ridiculous. I mean, do you ever wonder, like sometimes I love social media so much and I get so much joy and laughter out of it, but I do sometimes wonder what it would be like to read a book again. You know, like I got my TV time, my stories, and then I got my phone time, which is my book. So Andy's like, who are the lawsuits against? I don't understand. And she's like, they are against robots. They are against C-3PO and R2-D2. No, Erica's like, John Doe. And Erica's like, I fucked him. John Doe's got a big old dick. And Dinah's like, so you file like John Doe because we don't know who did it. And Annie's like, wow, so how will it work now? Whose job is it to uncover who this is? Also, I feel so bad for the people who are actually named John Doe. They must just be scared on a weekly basis. They're like, fuck, they're after me again. Like John Doe, like every day somebody's after a John Doe. Dinah's like, so my lawyers are going to be very busy, which like her lawyers this year just must be buying themselves like, yeah, get the Maserati, babe. We're doing real good. She keeps doing things. She goes, the thing is, my privilege is that I have money and I can afford lawyers, and we actually get to the bottom of it and maybe even help prevent it from happening to other people. I am very curious about this because somebody did do it. Somebody did do it. I don't actually even think it's Diana, but somebody did do it. So I'm really curious to find out the results of this. I really hope they do find out. I don't know tech enough. Like, listen, I can barely hit record on the YouTube part of this, but I don't know how you go about finding out who did this. But there are people. I mean, it's obvious. It's like, do you notice, like, if you use keywords on an Instagram post, or like I use keywords, you'll all of a sudden get like 30 spam comments, or it'll always be like, Randy Esquire is the best money manager I've ever had. I used to be poor until I met Randy, the money manager. And then it'll like 30 other different names will be like Randy, the money man. And I'm like, yo, this is a post about Erica Jane. I mean, that's awesome for Randy, but why are you over here? So Diana's lawyer is going to be very busy. And Andy's like, Garcelle, what's your reaction to this lawsuit? And Garcelle's like, good for her. Good. Once again, stillness. Erica goes, I almost want to say her intentions are really good. Can you imagine Erica saying your intentions are really good? You'd be like, oh shit, I'm doing something wrong. Like, Erica's intentions aren't really good. So how is she the arbiter of like what good intentions are? Like, she wants to find out too. And I think you guys are just hurt for the whole thing. Also, remember, Erica and Rinna vacation with Diana at that Hawaii house and have like 2 times, I believe. So just remember, it's like anything. Of course, Erica gets free room and board when she's in Hawaii. Of course, she thinks it's a good thing, and you guys are all like pussies. Also, fun story that I meant to bring up in the first part of this. Guess what, you guys? This is interesting. Lisa Rinna, you know, PR, it's publicist, like public relations. Lisa Rinna's publicist and Lisa Rinna, they mutually decided to go their separate ways this week. And her publicist reportedly parted ways after fans booed and called for the reality star's firing at BravoCon. According to Heavy on Wednesday, a source revealed there was a mutual parting of ways between Lisa and her longtime publicist. While it's unclear why they've gone their separate ways at the time, the 59-year-old has been embroiled in a few controversial. So they're saying it's something about this, and I think that is fascinating. So we'll see how they spin this, how pop culture works. Is that, you know, Rinna will be asked about this eventually, and she'll say, it was time for me. I'm actually getting bigger, so I needed somebody bigger. When in reality, you probably got so much heat, the PR that she's willing to pay for, it's at a level that, you know, you're going to have to be doling out a lot of money to deal with as many bullshit things that Lisa Rinna is involved in. It's just coming from an outsider's perspective. So Garcelle's like, I'm hurt, but I'm also not putting stuff on social media about Diana. And Erica's like, right. And Andy's like, what kind of stuff is she putting on social media about you? And Garcelle's like, I don't want to talk about her, honestly, because I don't want to feel about this anymore. I'm good. I'm good. And then it goes, all right, we're going to leave it there. Diana, thanks for rallying to be with us today. And I hope you feel better. And Diana, now with tears in her eyes, like, thank you so much for having me. That's it. Goodbye, Diana. Look, kids, a falling star. Andy's like, we need to take a break. I gotta go take a dump. We're gonna be right back. Off air, Andy goes, are we breaking for lunch, guys? And like, oh, they're breaking for lunch. And this is so funny. Like frickin' frack. We're in Erica and Rinna's room. And Erica's like, you look great, by the way. And Rinna goes, do I? Thanks, so do you. Thank you. Garcelle, how about that? No, she said, I thought it was someone on the show. All of our children have been threatened. Yeah, death threats. Death threats, yeah. For her to say, yeah, I thought it was you guys. That's sad. It's sad. And the division that it causes. Oh, you guys, it's like the division you cause him. Oh yeah, okay, the division that it causes. In the group. Yeah, in the group. And that's what they were designed to do. Bingo. Like I said, the worst improvisers ever. They're just like yes-anding each other, and they think they're just like, this is real peppy, snappy dialogue, when in sense it's just awkward. You'd be like, is this a Lifetime movie? This is just weird. Who are the two older ladies talking about the death threat? It's just something just doesn't ring right. It's just so funny. They just encourage each other to be shitheads. It's like Beavis and Butthead. They're just like, yes, Beavis, yes. Here go. Fuck Crystal. So there's like one moment each time I do in a recap now that I see myself in the Zoom thing, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, look at this. This is your fucking life. Like this. And a week ago, you guys, 3:30 in the morning. 3:30 in the morning last week, I was up on top of the Gansevoort Hotel with Jeff Lewis, Lala, Lisa Barlow, Heather McDonald, Alyssa, the producer of Jeff and Amy Phillips' show. Emily wasn't there. That it was like this whole crew, and I was just sitting there going, what the fuck is going? It was bizarre. Like Chef Stewart, Jeff's dude. It was wild. That was just a week ago. Wow. Okay. Wow, as Owen Wilson would say. Okay, so now we're in Garcelle's dressing room, and Garcelle's like, were you here for Diana? And Julie, Garcelle's makeup artist, was like, oh yeah, that was a shit show. I had to walk out after that one. Garcelle's laughing. Welcome to our world. Sutton comes in wearing dog socks of her dog Waylon. And Garcelle's like, are you wearing Waylon socks? She's like, uh-huh. And I'd be like, Sutton, may I remove one of your Waylon socks? It'd be like so erotic, just like ding, 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 ding. That's how I remove socks. Ding, ding, ding. I make the sound effect ding, 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 as I remove the Waylon dog sock over her foot. And Garcelle's like, you're insane, woman. And she's like, do you think? Well, would this do for part 2? I say. And Garcelle's like, sure, you'll be warmer. Well, what do you think of the first? I am flabbergasted. And Son's like, well, you held it up. You did great with the Jax talk. I know that was hard. And that was hard. And my investigation is still going. I will not stop until I know who bought those bots. I will not stop. And Son's like, well, I'm not going to stop neither. And Garcelle's like, that's my mission. I got your back. I know you do. So I was really trying to understand what Crystal was saying. Earlier, we flash back to Kyle going, it felt like you wanted us to believe that she said something racist. And Crystal goes, I don't want that. And if I wanted to bring it up, I would have done it 2 years ago. And Garcelle says, I'm glad you guys were able to move on, but how do you feel? Like, obviously, I know you're not a racist. No, but to actually have it said, yeah, in front of everybody. Well, thank you. It's been a long time coming. Well, I think what the other women were saying, like, wait a minute. And Son's like, well, that's also nice to see the other women lend support. I say. And Garcelle's like, you got to take all the little wins. And Son's like, you got to. I wish I had taken a win last Friday when I met you, Sutton, but I took a big L. The World Series of Bravo, and I was up at bat. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. I get a fast pitch, very sweaty. The ball slides right over my wet hair. Oh, God, it just kills me. Gonna have nightmares about it for the rest of my life. Kyle's dressing room, and Dorit's like eating watermelon and pineapple, I think. And they're like, Kyle's picking out a salad, and Dorit's like, I feel like with Crystal, she is struggling to just admit that she may have. And Kyle's like, embellish? Yes. Well, let's call it what it really was. Yes, she wasn't honest. She was not telling the truth. I know, to cover her ass. Earlier, Crystal says, you just assume it's a story. What if it's actually my truth? Well, your truth isn't true, Kyle says. Crystal says, it is true. It's me. Kyle says, you just said you were making up stories. Crystal goes, I didn't make up anything. And Kyle goes, there was no real dark story. Kyle said, then you said on Watch What Happens Live that it wasn't. It was something worse. And she also tried to say she didn't say that. I know, to him. Andy Cohen, beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop, boop. And Kyle's like, this is what happens when you don't tell the truth. You can't keep your story straight. And Kyle's like, I've heard it from Mauricio many times. And Drew goes, I know. By the way, we didn't ask anything about the Dewey, the DUI that PK got. I DUI, the cops were really nice. I half a glass of wine, and they were like, you want me to drive you back to your house? And he goes, welcome back to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. We're keeping it loose today, guys. Andy goes, Jane from Indianapolis says, Rinna, Kyle, I love the new ink on your wrist. What do your tattoos mean? I don't know. Kyle got some fucking tattoos. Like, and by the way, I watch these shows nonstop. Who the fuck is noticing Kyle's tattoos? Why am I looking around my room like somebody's going to shake their head at me? Like, but seriously, like I see Kyle every day online and I've never been like, what the fuck is that marking on her wrist? Like Jane from Indianapolis, how deep are you looking at this shit? Like, am I just missing? Anyways, she got like some shit for her daughters, like 4 stars, a moon, a heart, and Michael Myers. Andy says, when did you get the tattoos? And Kyle's like, I was in New York working and I had a couple of days off. So I decided to get these on both wrists. I talked about it with my family for a while. Yes, Mao was thrilled. I heard they're addicting and I'm on probation. So I have to wait a little while. Wouldn't it be amazing if next season Kyle has a face tattoo? She looks like Post Malone, but like, you know, prettier, but also with less breasts because she got a breast removal. So sad. Andy's like, well, for 12 seasons, Kyle has shared her life with us. And each year she becomes more and more unwilling to get into any business. It gets more and more fabulous. How does this OG keep settling the Beverly Hills bar so high and doing the splits so low? Take a look. And we see a lot of clips of the Birkin party, air kissing Rinna and Aspen. Big Kyle's a big shopper. Remember Kyle hat? Remember Frenchie that? Hey, Kyle, it's me, Frenchie. Your hat at Kimosabi. I miss you. I'm in the Aspen house. Please take me home. I want you to wear me. Oh, all the fun characters this season. Kyle in our kitchen at Thanksgiving telling Mo, I got to go out and get a smaller turkey, another turkey on top of the bigger turkey because we got a family of 8. And he's like, it's just going to keep going bigger too, you know? And Kyle in a talking head says, Farrah and Alex have been dating for a few years now. It was definitely time for them to get engaged. We see Freier at Kyle's birthday dinner saying, I'm not going to be a high maintenance bride at all. And Kyle's like, you're not going to be a bridezilla. And Sophia's like, who's going to be more Zilla, bridezilla or groomzilla? And her fiance Alex says, bridezilla. And Mose laughs. Fucking women. He didn't say that, but Fair's like positive. And Alex goes, famous last words. And then at Rinna's 80s party, Dorit goes, you had said, are you not concerned? And I had said to you, Garcelle, I've known her for so long. She's never ever been like this. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop, boop. And you said, don't be Kyle. Don't be Kyle. Don't be Kyle. And Garcelle said, yeah. See, now you're exaggerating. I said, don't be Kyle once. They show the scene. Garcelle says it twice. Listen, we're going to call it like we see it. Said it twice. She thinks she said it once. Once again, what I am asking from Bravo. Huge opportunity here. We see the clips at home. Roll out the projector like they used to do in school and show the housewives the clip. So we can then get a reaction from Garcelle going, shit, I must have said it twice. I don't even watch the fucking show, you guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do this. You guys fail to remember that you show us every fucking flashback to the point where it's like 20 minutes a show, but you won't show the actual people in the scenes, the show at the reunion. So they're like, well, did I say that? It don't sound familiar to me. Well, guess what? You do a thing called filming it and you got proof. Let's show them. Wouldn't it make it so much easier? And then we get their laughs, like, because there'd be cute scenes. They'd be like, and then the intense scenes, you'd see real intense looks and like, okay, now I see what's going on. So Dorit goes, I guarantee you said it more than once. And Kyle's like, what's wrong with being Kyle? And he goes, what did you mean to Garcelle? And Garcelle says about don't be Kyle. I don't even know, but at the time, probably, I think she was defending me about not going overboard. And he goes, Kyle, have Freier and Alex set a date for their wedding? Basically, they're going to marry in La Quinta near her Palm Springs house where they have that house. You stole my goddamn house. They spent a lot of time there. And Andy said, the parents of the bride foot the bill. I have to assume you're going to go very big, you know, make it nice. And Kyle's like, she actually doesn't want anything too over the top, but of course it's our first. So we're going to go big. I mean, you saw Portia's bat mitzvah. We see a clip of Portia's bat mitzvah where it's literally like Kid Coachella. Now Kyle says it can't be less than that. And Rinna makes a whoa face. All the rats in my kitchen could use that money. Andy says, Bravo Junkie 77. What does that mean? Does that mean that Bravo Junkie, like a heroin addict? Like Bravo Heroin Addict 77 said, all this talk about Mao and Dorit having an affair, which I did. And Andy goes, which I didn't realize there was talk about. This is the shit I don't get. Andy, do you really not remember people talking? I have remembered people talking about this for years now, like years. Like this has been on Twitter, this rumor, even in joking form, has been on for years. So the fact that Andy's like, I've never heard of this in my life. I'm like, Andy pays attention. Like Andy's not a dummy. So this can't be true. So Andy goes, I really think it's PK and Mauricio having the affair. Are you starting to get jealous of this momance? We're reminded of the clip where PK presents Mauricio. He's like, I got your new favorite belt buckle. It's a gold Versace belt. It reminds me of Cousin Eddie in Vacation. The first one, when he gives Chevy Chase, Randy Quaid, he gives him these white shoes. He's like, here, Clark, I got you these white shoes. And he's like, oh, thanks, Eddie, because they're just gross and white. And he's like, well, I knew you liked it because last time you were here, you commented how much you liked mine. Yeah. By the way, National Lampoon's Vacation, it was made in the 80s. It still holds up. That Cousin Eddie and that, he's like, real tomato ketchup, Eddie? Nothing but the best. And then he's like, they make hamburger helper. And he's like, man, you don't even need the hamburger. The helper is just good by itself. It's so good. I imagine only half of you know what I'm speaking about right now. Less than that, potentially. So Mauricio and PK, they have their little flirty thing. Kyle goes, well, people got that from after the home invasion. Dorit hugged PK and Mao. And they said, did you see the way Dorit hugged Mao? It was so obvious. And they show that scene. And I'm like, girl, that's what none of us were talking about. Like, what are you? What? No. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't know that was there's been flirties even in Aspen. Remember, I don't know, but regardless, I don't think anything's ever happened. But I just think it's funny that all this, I don't know. Mauricio's talking to PK. He's like, how you doing, my man? I missed you. And PK goes, I'm all right. You? And Mauricio's like, you made it home? And we see Dorit go in for the hug for both men. And that's where we see this alleged moment, but it didn't look like anything to me at all. And Kyle's like, well, and then I heard we were swapping. And I was like, where is my throw up basket? Where is that? And Kyle's like, and then it was a whole thing. I was like, gosh, please, for the love of, and Andy's like, DJ253 said PK and Mauricio talking about which wife they would want to hook up with. Their answers didn't surprise me. Ladies, did any of their answers surprise or offend you? I'm trying to remember what they said. So PK said, by the way, they did surprise and offend me. Kyle, because PK goes, the ladies look nice tonight, aren't they? If we had to take the wives out to Punta Mita, out of the who wins. And Mauricio's like, all right. And PK's like, on three, 1, 2, 3. And PK fucking says Erica and Mo says Rinna. What? Dude, Mo, I'll fucking take you down to Madame Tussauds. You'll see a bunch of wax figures that'll get you so fucking boned up. Like, that is wild. That is wild. And Eric's like, Matt, tell a story. And I'm like, no. And Kyle's like, is that right? Mal said you and PK said Erica. And Eric's like, so here's what. Before PK met Dorit, I'd gone to the finals of the World Cup in Berlin. And this guy walks to me, and my friend, he walks up and goes, hey, you two chicks in porn? Fucking Paul Kemsley. And Rinna goes, no, seriously? And Andy's like, in porn? Are you two chicks in porn? And he's just like being like an ass. And Kyle's laughing like Dorit looks like, and Dorit's like, I actually didn't. I don't even ever think I knew that. Oh, excuse me. And Kyle's like, that's such a cute story. And Dorit goes, I know. And Eric's like, no, it was being himself. It was being like sassy. So we're supposed to believe. I mean, I believe this happened, but at the same time, it also makes like those scenes where the underpants scenes where Erica wasn't wearing any underwear. It adds a different kind of level to that they'd already known each other. Like, did Erica all of a sudden remember it was Paul Kemsley last year? Did she know all along? How did this never get brought up? So weird. And Andy goes, okay, on a different note for Garcelle, the hustle never stops. She's written a new book, purchased a new beach house, and finally bought her first Birkin. Mazel, Garcelle. Let's watch. And we get the Birkin scene. She bought the Birkin for $14,000, and Kyle's like, that's a good number to get. If you change your mind, sell it. That's what I do. Damn, man. Is there like that purse? That's a wild game. Anyways, in Punta Mita, Garcelle goes, I bought just a little tiny thing, and it was a 2,700 square foot beach house. And pretty much we see that scene, and Andy's like, okay, so how does it feel being an owner of a Birkin? And she's like, it's pretty cool. It's still like a little uncomfortable for me. And Andy's like, why? And Garcelle's like, I left it on my dining room table for 2 days because I thought if I take it to my closet, then that means I really own it. So it sat there for 2 days. I do that with like cheap shit. I'm just like, Kyle's like, and we didn't have to pay for it. And Andy goes, how much was it? And Garcelle was like, it was 13. And Andy goes, Sutton, was 13 grand? Is that a deal on a vintage Birkin? I mean, I told her to go to Paris. You'll get one there. And Kyle's like, I thought it was a good price for it. And then he goes, you did? Yes, I did. How many people here own a Birkin? 6 of the 7 women raised their hand. And Andy's like, you don't? And Erica's like, I had a Kelly. It was not my thing. And Andy goes, it's not your thing? It's not my vibe. I like Kohl's. You ever had a Kohl's purse? Very sturdy. Yeah, Kohl's. They gave you the Kohl's cash. Sometimes you buy 2 purses. Yeah, I'm a Maxinista, Andy. Oh, that's my vibe now. And he's like, right. How is construction going on the beach house? I don't know. Anyways, permits are taking forever, you guys. I worry every day about this beach house. I don't know about you guys. Let's make sure it gets. Andy goes, Garcelle, your book came out earlier this year. Congratulations. We see the cover. Garcelle, love me as I am. Garcelle says, thank you very much. I got to tell you guys, I had a moment with Garcelle in the hotel lobby. I was sitting there on Friday after the first day. I had sweated throughout the day. I met Sutton. I did the commercial, and Maritza was up in the hotel room. And I said, I'm going to go record a Patreon note. And I sat in the lobby at the lobby bar, which is kind of tiny actually, and I had some French fries and a martini with a couple olives. And Dolores Catania and her boyfriend were there, and Jackie and Evan and a lot of other Bravo, like some of the Real Girlfriends of Paris were there, some of the Real Housewives of Dubai. And I just sat there, and it was one of those proud moments that I had because, my therapist, you got to take those moments where you're like, okay, you made it through this day. Like, you made it through the tough part. Because my work obligations officially for DirecTV were that Thursday and Friday. And then I was able to actually like enjoy myself. And of course, Saturday, we fucking went to watch What Happens Live Legends Ball and then partied at the official Bravo party. And me and Maritza both overslept 12:30. And like, I finally got sleep, but we missed like the Vanderpump Rules panel and the Summer House panel. But it was like BravoCon was happening at our hotel too. So it was like kind of even Steven in a way. Even though I think that all pass holders should get all audio of the panels, or like a special link to watch the panels, just because I think that's the right thing to do for a pass holder. And it kind of warrants how much money you spend on that. But anyways, it was one of those moments where I was just sitting there and I was like, this is amazing. And that was Reza from Shaw's, and Reza was there, and Mercedes, and Garcelle was like right across from me to the left. And she was just sitting there with her assistant. And she truly is stunning. I mean, all these Bravo ladies and dudes even were stunning. But Garcelle was stunning, and she's laughing. She has a beautiful smile. And she walked to get up. And I said, hey, Garcelle, hey, I liked your book a lot. I just wanted to say you had a great season this season, and thank you for all that you do. And she was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I respected her so much that I didn't ask for a picture. Like, that's, that I was like, I'm not going to I just wanted to tell her that I thought she did good, And I would, even after this performance on part 2, I was like, you did great. So Andy goes, have your book. And Andy goes, you wrote about an experience with Bill Cosby when you were really young. What happened? And she's like, I got a part of the Cosby Show through a modeling agency at the time. And they said that Bill Cosby wanted my number. She was 18 years old, you guys. And then he invited her to his townhouse to work on her acting, his acting. That was his big thing. Remember, he's married with kids at the time. And he offered me Sambuca, and I took a sip, and something about it didn't feel right. Something about me and being in the house didn't feel right. And I got up and I ran out of there as fast as I could. And that's how he did it, you guys. He drugged women's drinks. And it was so sad for me. We have time. I'm just going to tell you stories until my voice runs out. But Bill Cosby, oh shit, you guys. I did not put the audio in this. Hold on a second. Back to the show. Oh my God, you guys. I'm such an idiot. This is what happens when you're a one-man band and it's like 1 a.m. when you record these things by yourself. That's why I prefer to talk with people during it, because I hit record on the YouTube part of it. Like we record off of Zoom, and then Maritza converts it for YouTube. But I forgot to hit record on the GarageBand, which is the audio version of it for the podcast. So the last 39 minutes is not as good of audio as it should be. So I apologize for that. So I had to correct it, take the audio from the Zoom, add it to the GarageBand. Anyways, the fascinating world of podcasting. What I was about to tell you was that the Bill Cosby thing was really hard for me because, listen, I get, we all have heroes, right? In pop culture. And Bill Cosby, when I was growing up in the 80s, he was the man. Like I wanted Bill Cosby to be my dad. No offense to my dad, but I thought he was the coolest dad ever. You know, the Cosby Show as a kid was the shit, man. Like I was like, fuck yeah, this is Bill Cosby. And then to find out what a fucking creep this dude was. I mean, just unarguably, I'm sorry, but he was. Like, listen, it's one of those hard things just because you like somebody's art and they portray themselves as a family man and says all the right things. What he was doing to women time and time again was just so upsetting. You can read the accounts of all of these ladies and it's like, yo, it's just such a bummer, you know? It's such a bummer. It's probably horrifying. Not probably, it's horrifying for these women, but it's a bummer because we look up to, you got to have heroes in media. It's helpful, even though it's hard to be a hero nowadays for anything. Do you think Rinna is anybody's hero? But then also my other favorite person, by the way, that I wanted to be my dad was Ozzy Osbourne from the Osbournes, because I didn't even like Ozzy's music because I wasn't a heavy metalhead. But the Osbournes, like he discovered Chipotle one episode, and I'll always remember it going like, Ozzy's fucking cool. And he would just sit there and like draw and watch it. Like, oh, where are they going, Kelly? Oh, they make the burritos, you know. And I was like, I love Ozzy Osbourne. So I wanted a cross between Bill Cosby and Ozzy Osbourne. But as you get older, you're like, well, my dad's actually pretty fucking cool and I don't need those guys anyways. So Bill Cosby basically almost did weird things to Garcelle, but Garcelle had a great instinct. But just imagine all of the women that he did do things to. And that's why it is so horrifying to hear that story, because you're like, damn, like really, really close to something bad happening and being one of those people that is, you know, just part of this whole thing. And then she would have had to testify against him anyways. She was 18 years old. And this is what, like, I mean, this is what you talk about Hollywood, right? Like Hollywood, a lot of religious right people would be like, Hollywood's the devil, all this, you know, oh, the violence in films, the sex and all that stuff. But then here was a family man with family values and doing worse things than any of these other Hollywood shit was showing. You know what I'm saying? Is that don't always judge the book by the cover. Like, I know you guys know this. I'm just repeating it for myself, but like, just because somebody portrays themselves to be an amazing, nice man or woman doesn't mean that is not necessarily the case. They are humans just like us. They are fallible just like us. And with power like that, you can do wild things. This woman was 18 years old. Bill Cosby was probably in his 50s. So that was crazy. And then we get into when it's like, you're so lucky listening to your gut. I don't have a gut. And Andy's like, yeah, 18. And Garcelle goes, that was the last name of the chapter, listening to your gut. Cause you know, so many times we don't, but I tend to listen to what my gut says. And Andy says, so Erica, did you at least skim Garcelle's book for mentions of you before you chucked it in the trash? And they show us the Instagram post from Erica's at The Pretty Mess. And it says, at Garcelle, even though you unfollowed me, I'm sure you'll see this, with a lip kiss. And it's Garcelle's book laying on top of a trash can with like a fucking phone, like a phone receiver, just wild trash. And Erica says nothing and looks at Rinna. Worst acting of my life. And Rinna goes, Well, I have to be honest. I'm the one who threw Garcelle's book in the trash. And he goes, oh, really? I did. Garcelle and I had a handshake agreement. The kids were off limits. So about a year and a half later, she put my daughter, Amelia, not to be confused with my other daughter, not Amelia, in her book. We're shown an excerpt from Garcelle's book where it says, one dust up came when I simply asked Lisa Rinna, whom I've known for years, if she thought that dancing in her underwear on social media had an effect on her daughter's struggles with food. And remember, you guys, we saw that scene on the show in Rome, and Rinna's like, and not in a positive light, in a negative light. That was what I did. And then he goes, what was in the book about Amelia? I thought that was in the book, was you retold the story of what happened on the show. And Garcelle's like, yeah, it was me retelling the story of what happened in Rome. And then we see that scene, Garcelle going, do you think that your body image affected your daughter in any way? And Renee goes, I actually don't think that's what caused Amelia's anorexia. And Garcelle's like, I'm not saying it was. Rinna then in this current day says, Amelia shouldn't have to be in Garcelle's book in a negative light, no matter what. And Garcelle goes, I understand that, but let me just paint the whole picture. You read the book or read that part, you skimmed and found that part, which I love that she threw in that you probably didn't read it, you skimmed it. And Renee goes, yes, yes. And Garcelle goes, the next thing I know, her lawyer called my manager, and then everybody got hot and heated about it. And Garcelle goes, right. So we were shown a headline from Heavy says, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star slammed for writing about Lisa Rinna's teen daughter in her tell-all book. Listen, I don't care. I mean, listen, take the fucking story out of the book. Just stop shaving your eyebrows and bleaching your eyebrows, Amelia, please. You're a beautiful girl. Stop doing weird, stop listening to Kanye and just follow the beat of your own drummer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'd be a great old Navy model. They're like really wholesome and they don't they don't bleach their eyebrows or shave them. Be a JCPenney's model, man. Like, come on. No, you're like, Amelia's obviously beautiful. But this is weird, though. I mean, this is my argument for this. Garcelle writes this book. It's a huge honor. It's a small little part. It is something that was on the show. So if Rinna was so in her panties in a twist, why not tell the show that they can't put that on the show and bring that scene up at all? I mean, we do that now with Kathy and all of that stuff. Why wasn't the show penalized? But Garcelle's book was the week that it was published. So Garcelle had to worry about that all of a sudden because Rinna got a fucking hissy fit. Also, Amelia has supposedly gotten past this issue. So wouldn't that be kind of this showing of like how much stronger you can get and how you can battle and conquer your demons? Wouldn't that be a good thing to have in the book about Amelia Bedelia? You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not right now. She's fucking like Scott Disick or something. Like, I think that's a positive thing to show that, look, she is now happy and healthy and working as a model and all of that stuff. Like, be proud of that shit. I just didn't. I'm trying to understand, and I don't have a kid, so I don't know, but I guess I wouldn't want anybody writing about Batman because I love him. You know, if you write a bad thing about Batman's a great guy. I keep bringing up Batman this week. Garcelle goes, and I said, what can we do? It was a week before the book actually came out. So we all came up. We said, we'll do a second edition of the book. We'll take out the audio as well. And that's what we did. All of this fucking shit because of fucking Amelia Bedelia. Did you know that's like, and Rinna, like, see, this just seems so Rinna to me because it just seems, by the way, I have fucking Lisa's Rinnavention. This is her book. I don't think it was ever in hardcover. And this is where she teaches you how to give a blowjob. Like, her daughters had a scene on the show about like reading her mom telling tips on blowjobs. Like, are we really worried what is brought up about Amelia? Oh, I just opened to a page. Like, you remember people do that with the Bible. People like, I'll just open and read from a passage. These days, Belle Gray is a one-stop shopping experience. We sell candles, lingerie, lingerie, clothing, shoes, and jewelry. We dress women from age 10 to 80. My God. And we can dress anyone for any event. We have customers coming in who need something for a night on the town, a reunion, a wedding, a weekend getaway, a movie. What is this, a pamphlet? A movie premiere or their child's school play, and they rarely leave empty-handed. Our website, www.bellegray. Wait, this is your fucking book, Lisa, and you put in literally just like pages about your store? Our website, designed by Harry. Harry's a programmer? Has also been successful. Thank goodness. And we get orders from all over the country. If I sound like a proud mother, I am. The name Belle Gray comes from our daughter's middle names, Delilah Bell and Amelia Gray. And these stores are our babies too. We have shops in Sherman Oaks and Calabasas, and these are all closed. Along with our amazing daughters, Belle Gray is one of Harry's and my proudest accomplishments. Well, for Harry, he's also got the acting career. It's a result of one of my passions. It's led me to meet tons of great new people. I've learned volumes about the business, and it's something I created with Harry, like the children we made while we made love. You might not love to play dress up as much as I do. Hey, you might not even like to shop. I understand that not everyone shares my passion for fashion, but I encourage everyone to be open to the power of a great outfit that can help you feel confident and attractive and transform you a tiny bit every time you put it on. A little renovation can be as simple as a little black dress and Depends diapers under that form-fitting dress. So that's her book. And then Garcelle's fucking talking about Bill Cosby and running out of that, So tomato. I mean, there were different strokes. Anyways, so Rinna goes, yeah, I said, okay, we moved on. And Garcelle goes, yeah, we moved on. So you threw the book out and sent the picture to Erica, Andy says. And Rinna goes, well, I sent the video to the group chat of me throwing it away. It was hysterical. And Garcelle's like, that's what I heard. And everybody was snickering about it. And he goes, I don't know about snickering. And Erica goes, I don't know about no snickering. And Rinna goes, but I sent it. And then Erica chose to post it. And Andy was like, it was a group chat, but she was not on the group chat. And Garcelle's like, there's a separate group chat, obviously, the Flunky Force 5. I bet Freddie Mellencamp's in there. Oh, my God. And Garcelle's, yeah, separate group chat. And Eric's like, when Garcelle used the I don't have to make you look bad, you can do that all on your own, she chose to use that piece for her Instagram and her caption for her book. So that's what she was mad at. So then she used that. I secretly believe that Rinna was like, hey, put this in a caption. I think it's funny. It'll be a good get back at Garcelle. I don't think this was even actually Erica's idea to do it. I think Rinna gave her the idea because she made the video. That's just my personal opinion. So Erica's like, no. So I took the video, I put it up as Oscar the Grouch, put it on my story and said, hey, at Garcelle, I know you don't follow me, but I bet you'll see this. And he goes, do you recycle? Because in the trash was soda cans. And Rinna goes, we need to talk about this. This is crazy. Now, this is where it swings wildly off course, where you're like, okay, so this really strong woman from Haiti really, made something of herself, has her first book released. She's very proud of it, obviously. Rinna's already screwed with it the week of publication. And now we're in a separate group chat, snickering, as Garcelle says. And we also then get completely derailed from this conversation about how fucking bullyish this is, especially after Garcelle bent over backwards to actually take Amelia Bedelia out of the book. And we're still getting this shit. Listen, you got to sell books. Rinna Rose, I bet you're going to have some snarky fucking posts when Rinna Rose comes out. You know the deal. This is so stupid. And it's like so petty and it's bullshit from a housewife. It just is. And so, yeah. But Andy chose to focus on the recycling bit. So I thought that was interesting. And he goes, you got so much shit about this. I got to say, you took a lot of shit, Erica, for your lack of recycling. There's an old phone in there. And when he goes, hold on, it was the rats. It was the rats in my home. They have their own phone. And, Kyle was like, I thought it was Tom's phone. Tom Girardi. And Rinna goes, hold on. We have had a whole redoing of the recycling at the Hamlin house because, and then he goes, good. First of all, Harry Hamlin threw the phone in there, fucking throws her husband under the bus like that. Harry loves to throw phones away. This big guy he'll get a phone, he'll throw it away in the first day. He's bad. He's a bad boy. And then he said, no, I didn't. And I said, yes, you did. I fucking Rinna gaslights Harry Hamlin. Like probably Lisa threw it away. And Harry's like, I didn't do that. Yeah, you did. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. Okay, I guess I did. Anyways, off to solo camp. Rinna goes, anyways, long story short, we now recycle quite good. It is very much like Rinna to not recycle and think about the world around her and just herself. But Eric goes, I recycle. I use old dicks all the time. Yeah. Erica goes, it was not my trash. Erica took the brunt of this for me for a very long time. Listen, I remember this whole thing and I remember the recycling comment, but I remember more of just the book thing. And like, This is what you thought it was about, you guys? Like Rinna and Erica, you're sitting there going like, I let Erica take the fall for the recycling thing. What about the taking the fall for just being a fucking asshole? And he's like, she did. And even Lisa Vanderpump came after you said and said that Garcelle should have sent you a scratch and snip book so you can understand it. We see another heavy headline. Lisa Vanderpump fires off at Erica Jane. And Erica's like,
Yeah, and I said that's rich coming from you whose breath smells of garlic, Chardonnay, and cigarettes.
and Andy says, oh, no, you didn't. Makes that face. And Andy's like, oh boy. Garcelle, you got a big reaction when you told the women that Oliver is working for Lisa in Las Vegas. Vegas. We flash back to that scene in Lisa in La Quinta at Kyle's earlier in the season. She's like, oh, guess who Oliver got a job with? Lisa Vanderpump. And Dre's like, Garcelle, the best way home. I'll send your stuff. Just walk through there. And Andy's like, is he still working there? And how did that happen? And Garcelle says she was having an event for Haiti at one of her restaurants here in LA. And I got invited. And it was the first time I met her. And I knew he was looking for a job. And I said, hey, my son's looking for a job. And Andy said, when was the last time you saw her? And Garcelle goes, I saw her recently. And Rinna looks at Garcelle with daggers. Yeah. And Rinna goes, didn't you just film with her? And Garcelle goes, I did. Film for Vanderpump Rules. We see a screen rant headline says, Garcelle Bouvet spotted filming with Lisa Vanderpump. She dines with Lisa Vanderpump in front of a camera crew. Fans assume they are filming for a new Vanderpump Rules season, and they were. Rinna goes, yeah. And Andy goes, what was your reaction to that? And Rinna goes, oh, I just thought, wow. All right. Rinna's never invited on other shows. And he goes, we're going to leave it there and take a break. Be right back. And Andy goes, wow, that was a revelation. You took it for that long, Erica. And Erica's like,
You know I'm fucking down, man.
like, oh, wow, you took what? Also, this is interesting. So you're saying you took the fall for Rinna, but you wouldn't take the fall for your husband? You're saying you're also a good liar? Wow, this is like actually building up to make me think something about your case. I don't know what it could possibly be, but wow, you made me believe you actually sent that post and you lied for Rinna. So it seems like you would lie potentially for other people you were close to. I'm putting dots together. It's just, it's hard though. My brain not working. Rinna goes, she took it for that long. And Andy goes, well, she posted it.
I'm that kind of, like I said, hey, I'm like, okay.
Like Erica's trying to pat herself on the back like she's friend of the year. And Rinna's like, she's got so much shit about the recycling. That's when I really felt bad. I'm like, and Erica's like,
No, I was like, girl, I'm getting all this shit for this phone.
I have this whole recycling thing. It's all good now. And you guys, this is the most powerful moment of the episode for me. The camera focuses on Garcelle. Now, remember, they have probably like a 5-camera setup. So each camera is pointed on a different lady. So you'll get the reaction shot. And that's why it's sometimes upsetting when they don't get a reaction shot because they have multiple cameras. So they're pushing in on a reaction shot when they're pushing another camera in on whoever's talking, and then another overall camera to get all of the ladies. So you got all these different things you can cut to in the control room. So, Garcelle is just sitting there silently, just looking at them laugh and banter, Andy, Rinna, and Erica Jean about recycling and laughing at her expense. And it was pretty fucking gross. And they left it in the edit. So they know it's pretty gross too. Because they know how that comes off. Production at Evolution, they're not stupid. They know how that comes off. So they left that in there. Andy knows that was in there. So, and it got a really big fan response backlash. So I would say even more than the recycling. So fuck off, Erica and Rinna. But in a nice way. I mean, in a nice way. Andy says, welcome back. And this is a whole thing to Lisa, her mom, Lois. And Lois was awesome. We have a bunch of clips of Lois, east side, west side, east side, and like, oh, Lois is the bird up there, so it's all. And then we start getting into the Rinna, like, son's like, you talk out of both sides of your mouth. Well, so do you, fuck you. Get out of my house. If you're going to talk like this, then you should leave. And son's like, well, the soap actress and Lisa never leaves her body. I'll say it would take an exorcism to get the soap actress out. And he's like, if you cover my husband and kids, I will fucking hunt you down. And then we have a clip of Dorit's charity, the homeless and toothless party. If you want to make this go away, you make a public apology and you say, I'm sorry I did that. And son's like, okay, Lisa Rinna's rule book. Let me see. What does it say? Okay, say this, and then it goes away. And Rinna goes, Sutton, why did you do that in the first place? When I get it, I'll let it fucking go. She's fucking insane. Fucking insane. And Kyle, and I'm like a potty mouthed. I'm so sorry, you guys. my mom raised me better than that. Kyle on a talking head says, I understand that Lisa is in a lot of pain. I just wish she wouldn't lash out at charity events about homeless and toothless people. Because, you know, everybody processes grief differently. And Rinna goes, my pain is not about Sutton. And so we're going to let that go now. This is a part of the scene where she diagnoses herself in that scene. And listen, she's trying to figure out how to live without her mom. I don't want to talk too much about this because it's her mom, man. Somebody did point out today, though, on Twitter that I was some account, something, but it was saying that when Lisa was first on the show, she pointed out that she had not seen her parents in a while and that her stepsister or half sister, or I don't know, was the one that was like that hung out with the mom a lot. I don't know. I think they were insinuating that Lisa hung out with the mom when she got popular on the show, but I don't think that's true. And I think that's, you know, I thought her and her mom seemed very close, and I thought it was very cool. And listen, I have a sister, and you know, we have different relationships with our parents. So it's just that's how it is. My sister lives like a mile away from my mom in Arizona, and I live, where am I? I think I'm in Los Angeles. Yeah, so it's a bit away. So Annie's like, you had a memorial in July for her. What was that like? And she's like, you know, it was really beautiful. I think waiting that long to put her to rest was really difficult. Had we been able to do it sooner, it might have helped a bit. And he's like, why didn't you do it sooner? And it was because her mom wanted to wait. And she asked to wait till summer. The girls had her ashes, and I just went in and I like kissed them. I was like, oh my God, that Rinna beauty is all over those ashes. And so I left my lipstick on her urn. And then, and then the girls put it in and they were able to put the plaque on. So there was a great sense of relief after that. And that was 2 months ago. And Drew goes, some closure. And Rinna's like, it really hit me really fucking hard. And Andy it was touching watching you go through her boxes. What was the most treasured thing that you found? And it was like that crystal from the Christmas tree because she loved Christmas, and that ceramic carnation that sat on her desk, just little things. And we had a flashback of that. And he says, Eddie from New York says, Lisa, feels like you're using your mother's death as a scapegoat for your despicable behavior. What excuse did you have when you were equally discussing to Denise Vanderpump and Kim? And he goes, listen, it's been a very confusing time for me because I'm not used to being employed for this long ever. I'm not going to scapegoat it, and I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to say it's been very confusing, and I've been all over the place, and I don't even remember myself being quite so all over the place, but I have been. And Sutton is shown blinking hard. You know, like Sutton's little face reactions, her eyes get really wide. It hurts to talk about somebody that I met last Friday that hates me probably, but it's really cute. She does this eye blink. And Andy's like, Lisa, grief can manifest itself in terrible ways. Are you at least talking things through with a therapist? She's like, I am and have been from the beginning. And I was like, well, you need to fire that person. That person is not good. From the beginning of what? From the beginning of like your show? Like, what are you from the beginning of what? Also, Harry Hamlin's my therapist. He'll fall asleep and I'll just say, Harry, can we talk? And I'll just talk, you know. And he's like, that's great. And Rinna's like, sure, thank God, you know. And then he's like, Erica, Rinna stepped in and gave you some tough love about drinking and acting out. Did you do the same for Lisa when you saw her acting out for years now? Erica's like,
Lisa and I have talked privately about losing Lois and how much this has affected her. This is hard for her. This is probably the most important person in her life.
and then he's like, did Lois watch the show? And Rinna's like, are you kidding? She loved the show. And he's like, so what did she make of you, Rinna? Because you've had some moments on the show. And Rinna goes, she never judged me. She never said, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. The one thing I would tell you about my mom is that she never did was make me feel bad or less than. And that is a pretty major thing to say about a parent. And Doree goes, I think she got a kick out of you. And Renee goes, oh, a big kick. One time I just kicked her. No. And Eric was like,
and you got a kick out of her.
And Renee's like, and I got a kick out of her. What are you going to say, man? Like I said, my mom likes every one of my Instagram posts. I think I said this yesterday's show. Never knows what I'm posting about, but she just loves me. She loves me. I fuck up all the time. Fuck up all the time. Fuck up all the time. You see how bad I fucked up at BravoCon? I losing all that shit. Fucked up all the time. Still loves me. Unconditional love. You know, so unconditional love. Andy Annie says in the balance sheet of Sutton's life, does her clumsiness get added to her assets or liabilities column? Let's check the receipts and do a little accounting. What a horrible intro. What? And there was no emotion or just what? Robot Erica's like,
I'm glad you asked him right, because I think Sutton is a liability for you.
and Garcelle's like, really? And Erica's like, yeah. And Garcelle goes, why does everybody come down on Sutton? We rewind to Sutton, September 22nd, 2021, during an appearance at Watch What Happens Live. Sutton's like, well, I'll tell you, a few years ago, Harry and Lisa, I invited them to an Elton John gala. Okay. And they came with me as my guest. I never got a thank you. And Andy's like, oh, all right. October 28th, 2021. Kyle in tears. That's what happened today with Dorit. That's weird. It's terrifying, begging for her life. Well, I've been putting fires out all day too. I got this French designer that I'm bringing in. I say immigration is just, listen, I would much rather get robbed. No, she didn't. But, and she goes, that doesn't seem like a fire after that. Well, these are, it's all relative. And Kyle's like, I know, but I wasn't held at gunpoint. I'm sorry. Listen, that's a fucking horrible thing to say. You can't, listen, I can't back my love on this, And Kyle's like, what is wrong with you? At Garcelle's birthday party, Sutton to Diana, you say you're on bed rest, but you're here. That's confusing. Diana in a talking head goes, do you want to see my doctor's note? Maybe that would help. I wouldn't mind seeing doctor's notes. I would like proof on everything. I'd like the receipts from the therapist for Rinna. Like, I'm good with let's make it a multi format experience. Let's have PDFs when we watch these things. Let's have an experience. Like, I want to see fucking receipts. Then I was like, 12 weeks ago, I lost a baby. And Son's like, no. And remembers like, pop, 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 pop. And Son's like, listen, I've had 2 miscarriages. And Don's like, really? And then Erica and Rinna at lunch,
She said, you call me a liability when actually you are.
that's what came out.
I said, your mouth is a liability.
You know what? These are moments when I really like her. And we have a very nice connection when she buys me things. And I always say that. But at the end of the day, she pokes the bear. And she's just your own worst enemy. She really is. I like that Rinna makes herself the bear. Like, that shows a narcissist right there. And then at the Rinna Rose party, Son's like, so why am I a liability as a friend? And Eric's like,
because she always has to clean up for you.
Garcelle goes, why do you guys make me feel bad because I'm a loyal friend?
I'm not.
And Garcelle goes, why is that a bad thing?
She supports you through all the stuff to get.
And Son's like, well, that's what a friend does. It's called being a friend. And Andy's like, okay, Sutton. At Bravo by Ben says, Sutton acted differently to Reet's home invasion because of her past. The story about her father is heartbreaking. Of course, she would be triggered by hearing about a gun to Dorit's head. Remember, this is a trigger warning. Her dad committed suicide. Kyle, what do you say to this? And Kyle's like, well, I didn't at the time. She was just talking about the designer. And I was like very confused. It was out of left field. I just felt like it was very, kind of flippant. And Son's like, well, first of all, I'll say, that's the worst thing I ever said in my life. It truly is the worst thing I ever said in my life. I'll say, and I will regret it probably until the day I die, which is awful. Dude's like, I'm really glad to hear you say that, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that have gone through traumatic events that still wouldn't react like you did. It was really hurtful. And so I was like, well, I can't stand that I said that. I hate that day. And by the way, she does seem very sincere. And Dorit's like, you saying that and saying that you'll regret it? I'll regret it forever, Dorit. And Dorit's like, no, it does. It feels like what I needed. I needed to hear. Chic. And so like, good. And he said, Kyle, Jules on Twitter says, it's so weird Kyle gets physical with people. The way she was pushing and pulling Sutton was disgusting. You didn't like it when Brandy shoved you down those steps. We see a clip from 2015. Kyle's like, don't you fucking do that. And Brandy's like, wow, really? Don't fucking touch me. That was actually a good episode. And he goes, we got so many tweets though. And Kyle's like, very different. And he goes, about people who felt you got very physical. And Kyle's like, which is so crazy. Back at Garcelle's birthday, Kyle grabbing Sutton's arm, like, excuse me. And Sutton's like, it's real. Kyle pushing Sutton's shoulder back to force her to look at her. Stop. And Sutton's crying, it's fucking real. And Kyle pointing her finger in Sutton's face and then grabbing both of Sutton's arms 2 inches from Sutton's face. Don't talk like that. Don't talk like that to her. Don't talk like that to her. And Diana's laughing. Kyle says, by the way, I am the kind of person, like when I was talking to Garcelle, I do this, and she clamps her hand on Garcelle's arm, and she will joke with me like, don't push me, I'm delicate. So we have this joke. I was not going to grab her. She had a bruise. I love that, Kyle, like we have this joke where I push her around. Like, it's not the best joke. Like, I don't even know what the joke is, but I don't know. And Son's like, Kyle, and Kyle's like, excuse me, hold on. This is the kind of bullshit they treat something like. It's like, you feel comfortable talking over her, but you wouldn't talk over some of these other ladies. She had a bruise on her that was there when she got there, people, though, you know? And Sutton's like, it wasn't a bruise, it was somebody's makeup. And Kyle's like, okay, well, my point is I didn't hurt you. Well, you pulled quite aggressively. I mean, you did. I say, you also directly jumped onto Diana's side. You didn't help me at all. And Kyle's face is angry. And Andy goes, you doubted her miscarriages. Well, here's the thing, Andy. And Sutton's like, you basically were saying I was lying about 2 miscarriages. And I apologize for that, Sutton. And he's like, is that her making it about herself, or is that her trying to relate to? And Dorit goes, it's about her making it about herself. And I'm like, Dorit, do you want to go down this road? And so I'm like, come on, Dorit. And Kyle's like, I got now that you were trying to relate to her, and that's why I called you first thing. I said, I feel so bad. I feel embarrassed. I don't remember everything. I apologize. And I don't think you would ever make something like that up. And Sutton's like, well, thank you. And Andy says, Garcelle, as someone who probably spends the most time with Sutton here, I would think, is she someone who makes things up about herself? And Garcelle goes, a little bit. If I'm Garcelle goes, a little bit. If I'm going to be honest, a little bit. Yeah. Which I think that's good. It's like an honest friend. Like, that's good. Rinna looks at Eric and goes, "Eee." Yeah, isn't it weird, Rinna, when your friends are honest to you? Isn't that crazy? And then they're still friends because they respect each other's honesty about each other. Wild. And Dorit smiles. And then he goes, why is Sutton a liability to Garcelle? And Eric is like,
Garcelle being a good friend, is there to help her, but in a way, it obstructs us from really getting to know Garcelle.
and Sutton's like, well, I think the same thing can be said about, well, actually all of you. Also, I wanted to mention really something about Oliver, Garcelle's son, who got himself in a little bit of a situation with his wife or ex-wife or whatever. He was hooking up with a lot of girls at Vanderpump Vegas, also made out with Raquel from Vanderpump Rules in the new season. And listen, it's going to be fun because if Rinna comes back on the show, we're going to see if she really does keep it away from the kids, because this sounds like something Rinna would use. So we'll find out, right? But just keep that in the back of your head. Remember that. Put a bookmark. Make a note. Make a note. So Andy goes, I was going to say, all of you, and Garcelle's like, they all stick up for each other. And Andy goes, I wonder, Lisa Rinna, do you think Erica is a liability to you? You look out for her. And Garcelle's like, yeah. And Andy goes, but probably even more than Garcelle does for Sutton. And Garcelle goes, I have never ushered Sutton out of a party to protect Sutton. And Erica's like, yeah, well, she has. We get a flashback to that Aspen house where Rinna's like, let's get back to college. That's enough. You're done. We're going. We're leaving. That's
Caving into some shit.
fine. We're going home. We're going on.
Okay, so we're all different. Hooray.
And Garcelle smirks. And Andy goes, it's just frustrating because it's true. It's like, why can Rinna and Erica be terrible twosome, and Garcelle and Sutton, they have to tear them apart? And it's like, you're a liability to this. And it's like, play that Lord song and just let me weep over a glass of Chardonnay, please. Andy says, okay, I want to hear from Crystal. By the way, fun fact, did you realize, I just realized this week, her husband is the director of The Lion King, the movie, the Disney, no shit. She said, what do you want? What are you thinking? And Crystal goes, the 4 of them, they protect each other just as much, if not more, for what they're saying about the 2 of them. And Garcelle goes, they do. And Dorit's face looks like they're all crazy. And I'm like, oh no. Rinna goes to say something, but abruptly stops. And Andy goes, all right. So Sutton, you had to know what moment on Watch What Happens Live that you were throwing a little dynamite out. And Sutton's like, well, I had no idea it was going to explode. And Andy goes, in that way. Well, yeah, in such an atomic bomb way. There was a bigger point that I was making on Watch What Happens Live. Can we say Watch What Happens Live one more time? And it was about giving a thank you to a friend. I say, and this goes back to kind of, Andy goes, the sauce. And Son's like, yeah, the sauce. This fucking bolognese. Also, Rinna Rosé, where the fuck? Like, the bolognese, you idiots. Sell the bolognese. Bolognese. I don't attribute rosé with Rinna. I attribute pills with Rinna. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Sell the bolognese. It's gotten so much more play than whatever. Flashback to 2021 at Garcelle's house. And Rinna's like, I didn't get a text from you after we brought the sauce. I would have loved to have been able to say, Harry, she loved the sauce. She's thanking you for it. Garcelle goes, I mean, I said it when you guys were here. I thanked him for the sauce. Everyone goes, you absolutely did. Also, they didn't put this scene, but I want to point out too that Harry Hamlin was on Watch What Happens Live after this. And he was like, and Andy goes, so you were upset that Garcelle never thanked you for the sauce. And Harry goes, no, she thanked me at the thing. I wasn't upset. And Andy's like, well, your wife said, no, I actually wasn't upset. Like, fucking, I'm sorry, but Rinna's been caught in a lot of lies. Like, I'm sorry. That was from Harry Hamlin. So Sutton's like, well, it was not meant to hurt Harry and Lisa and Harry. And Andy's like, a Twitter account called Kathy Hilton's Notes said, Sutton, Rinna has shown you through in her words and her actions, she does not like you. Why don't you realize she's not your friend? Boom. Rinna goes, that's not true. And Sutton's like, well, I'm not quite sure why you really hate me so much, Lisa. I don't hate you. I've had your moments, and I think you've had your moments with me. I definitely don't. I don't hate anybody, and I can tell you that. Very hateful. Says like, well, you were pretty brutal with me all season long. Everyone's like, well, I'm sorry you feel that. I hate you. I definitely don't hate you. And Andy's like, seemed like maybe show a little bit of your punching bag. And Renee goes, well, you pissed me off for sure. And Son's like, but it leaked even after filming, like on your Instagram and stuff. You were still coming for me. And they show a combo on Instagram between them at Lisa Rinna. Oh, yeah, that's right. Sutton worked her ass off to have the money she has, laughing emoji. I guess it takes a gold digger to know one. She's rich, honey. She's rich because of her ex-husband, 3 kissy face emojis. Dude, what is Lisa, 65 and she's using kissy face emoji? Calm down, man. There should be a lock on the phone. And hey, more power to her. However, you get your cash, just own it, baby. 3 laughing emojis and 4 dancing girl emojis. You know what? When Rinna gets to heaven, she should be penalized for each of those dancing girl emojis. At a certain point, it's like, oh, I'm a mom. Sudden Strack's like, at Lisa Rinna. Now, Lisa, you know that I've known my ex since we were kids. Don't be doing this. And Lisa Rinna at Sutton Strack. So if he stopped paying you monthly, what then? You be in the same spot as Erica. A what's up emoji and a kiss emoji. Don't be starting something you can't win. Who the fuck are you? What a creep. Creep. You're on Instagram. Sell that shit on Twitter. Son's like you never stopped, Lisa. And Renee's like, I had a rough season, Sutton. And I think, did you hear about my mom? Son's like, well, I understand that, but you didn't do it with anybody else but me. So, I don't consider you a friend. Erica makes his face like, so what? Who cares? And Renee goes, okay. And Sutton's like, and I mean, how can I? Rinna just silently mean stares at Sutton. And he goes, Andrea from San Francisco says Rinna's behavior towards Sutton at the wine tasting was obnoxious and embarrassing, especially after we just watched her husband escape from the house. No, especially after we just watched her accept Sutton's apology at lunch a few days before. And he goes, yeah. And then he goes, I wondered about that because that lunch between the two of you was actually really fun. We flash back to that lunch where Rinna goes, people think I'm such a fucking bitch. And Sutton's laughing like, people do. And really, because people are scared of me? I'm like, I'm not so scary. And Sutton's like, well, I'm not scared of you. You are scared at times. Sutton's like, well, I did talk to you a lot during the time of hospice and your mother's passing. And Renee goes, you did. So even when I'm getting yelled at over and over and over, I'm thinking, I say, does she not remember that I was such a good, steady friend to her? You yelled at me a lot. I was a dead horse. I turned into glue. I mean, that's pretty shitty, man. Your mom's in hospice and she's calling a check and Rinna still like, I don't know. Erica holds back a laugh. Garcelle smiles and Sutton's like, I mean, I was giving glue to all the schools in LA. That horse had gotten beaten. I really need an apology, Lisa. Rinna stares at her silent for a long pause, probably calculating, how will this look? Should I give the apology? Should I? And I'm sorry I did that. I really am. Sounds like, but it's a pattern of behavior, And I was like, oh shit, Sutton. Just accept the apology. And Renee goes, well, I understand that, but I'm talking to you right now, and I'm sorry that I took that out on you. I'm sorry that I took my pain, anger, sadness, and fear out on you. All the feelings. Where was take it out on your therapist? What the fuck? So it's like, and Renee's like, I understand. You'll accept it if you want or not, but no, sorry. I understand you'll accept it if you want or not, but I want you to know that I'm sorry and that I took it out on you because I did, and I'm sorry. And Son's like, yeah, thanks for apologizing. And Reed's like, I'd like to ask, I'm curious. I really don't understand the analogy of the glue. And Kyle laughs and Eric's like, horses. And Andy's like, they make glue out of horses. She was a dead horse. And Son's like, out of their hooves. And then he goes, yeah. Little Jagaloo's like, I even knew that, mommy. And Phoenix's like, mommy, you don't get tired of Coke. I know glue comes from Mom. See? Andy says, Lisa, I've spoken to you about this privately many times. You smell. No, your social media is disastrous. Andy says this is somebody every season, but sometimes he says it more intensely to other contestants, not contestants, or they kind of are contestants, other housewives than he did with Lisa. He's like, your social media is disastrous. And he goes, we talked about it. And he goes, yeah, we talked about it a lot. You have no impulse control. Very, very little. Which I love. It's like, if I had a bit to it, do I not get in trouble? Okay, very, very little. And he goes, you make so much trouble for yourself. You post something and then you wind up having to delete it. I mean, a week or two ago, you posted you're never posting about the Housewives of Beverly Hills again. And then yesterday, you're posting up a storm about the reunion and what's to come and text messages. I mean, this is the fucking bullshit we've been talking about all season. This is why I think she's so full of shit, because she has no impulse control. We see on Rinna's Instagram, at Lisa Rinna, I was asked what happened to the Bravo statement on my Instagram. This is my reply. I archived it. That's all. I've been keeping my social page very edited, if you'll notice. I'm keeping it very positive, non-negative, and fashion and fun. I don't want anything negative on my grid. And since my own children are being threatened as we speak by Kanye West to shave their eyebrows, I felt it best to archive it. The statement did nothing, so why keep it up? Our children are getting death threats. All of our children. It's gone beyond, and I need to keep my family safe now. And stop running your stupid mouth. Like, I don't understand. Now I need to keep my family safe. I would no longer be saying or posting anything about the show. And then she posts at Lisa Rinna, and she posts the text from Kathy Hilton. Please, please do not say anything we discussed. Otherwise, it'll make a huge scene that everyone gets dragged into. No bueno. Please, it goes further than you would want to know. Silence is golden. I'm staying silent. 4 heart emojis. And it's like, one text message I posted. And Andy goes, okay. And Drew goes, there's something that comes with being an impulsive person. And Drew goes, yeah. And Drew goes, there's like a thrill that you get. And Drew goes, a dopamine high. Once again, diagnosing herself. Drew goes, yep. And Renee goes, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's the idea. Okay, moving on. And then he goes, even if it's negative attention, do you like it? No, I don't like the negative. Well, yeah, even if. And Kyle goes, doesn't it create anxiety though? No, I don't love it. And Andy goes, you give me anxiety. You post some shit and I'm like, what is she doing? Like blaming production for things. They show us a headline from All About the Tea. Lisa Rinna accuses Real Housewives of Beverly Hills producer of coordinating racist bot attacks on Garcelle's son. And then from at Lisa Rinna IG showing a picture of Lois and Lisa with these words, I got 1 episode of Grace. That's it. I'm shocked we spent 3 episodes about the word dark, but only a few scenes shown of real human grief. Maybe because it didn't look real and they felt embarrassed to continually to show it. Maybe. That's my theory on it. Lois deserved and deserves much more. Shame on everyone. Lois does. We all deserve, And he goes, do you think that's going to, how do you think? Everyone goes, no, listen, I just tried to express myself and I do. And in expressing myself, and Andy goes, well, why not call someone in production and say, I'm really upset, right? Deal with the source. And Erica's like, well, and Renee goes, well, and Kyle goes, too easy. That's too easy. And she doesn't get the dopamine rush, Andy. Bingo. And Garcelle says it takes away from the show, though, if she were to do the easy thing. And Renee goes, but I don't necessarily think when I'm doing something, when I first do it, that it's bad. And Andy goes, it's bad. And Kyle goes, nope, stop, no. And Renee goes, oh, okay, not always. And Kyle goes, not always. And we go, sometimes I'm like, fuck, And Kyle's like, because I know when I see them, I'm like, oh my God. And she goes, listen, I'm impulsive. You are not that. One time I took a thing and I put it up Harry's butt just out of nowhere. And then he goes, yeah. And Renee goes, I am a work in progress. When it comes to that, I'm going to get better. So she uses the Jax Taylor line. This is a Jax Taylor Vanderpump Rules line. Every housewife, Ramona, Rinna, if you've said you're a work in progress, you are not having a good season. And but I do feel this is a Jax original. A lot of people have argued that it's Ramona, but I want to give this one to Jax. He deserves it. He needs it. He needs this kind of juice. So this is a Jax Taylor original to me. And so Andy goes, it's in your control how you behave. And Rinna goes, Andy, I know that, and I can get better. And then I'm not. And then I get better, and I'm not. Just give me a chance. Like Rinna basically begging for a job. Any chance of giving up social media for a time, Andy says? And Rinna goes, I try. And Eric is like, and Rinna goes, I do. And Eric is like,
I'm sorry, I gotta laugh,
Andy says, at Roni Bravo says, from doxing people to posting racial microaggressions to just being a disaster on social media, Rinna needs to be put on pause. She's too much this year. We get a glimpse of more of Rinna's posts. At Lisa Rinna, dang it. I wish they had shown the screaming fight between your producer and Erica last night on the show in La Quinta. Now that would have been epic TV. Too bad. Bravo, bravo, fucking bravo. 3 laughing emojis. I'll get in trouble for this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sarcastic emoji. And at Lisa Rinna, looks like the jig is up. And at Lisa Rinna, oh, Sutton. Here's another LA Times article for you, Henny. Henny, you're a 60-year-old. Henny, Rinna goes, put me on fucking pause. Put me on pause. Fuck, I don't care. You guys, if I had one wish, that wish would have been right in that moment. Andy goes, Rinna, we are going to be putting you on pause. Wouldn't that have been the most amazing television if we got Rinna's reaction live of like, I'm glad you said that, Lisa, because we were going to be having a conversation in the third part of this. We will be putting you on pause. Thank you so much for your service. We do hope you get the counseling you need. And please consider what you post on social media. Thank you for all of the years of entertainment. And we hope to work with you in the future. But Andy goes, you also posted in a post that you wound up deleting. You said, we fight on our own show. If we fight with Garcelle, we're all of a sudden called racist. That's bullshit. I'll not accept that. I will express myself when and how I want, and I'm not afraid of any of you hoes. Hoes? What are you, hoes? What are you, Cool Mo D? What are you, young MC hoes? Big Daddy Kane? Who are you, Lisa? When he goes, that's true. But that got a little misinterpreted because I was talking to the trolls and the haters that were coming at me. You are the troll and the hater. That's what happens. Andy goes, and what's your reaction to that? And Garcelle goes, sometimes what is said is received differently when it comes to us. So therefore, if you're not around a lot of people of color, if you're not around a lot of just like the whole thing we had with this charity, flashback to 2020, Garcelle with Kyle saying, you calling me out about the whole thing about the charity cut me to the core. Garcelle says, sometimes what you say could have an undertone of being racist. It could be a microaggression. And Crystal says, that's how I felt in my conversation. And Garcelle says, about what? And Crystal says, my original conversation with Sutton is how I felt. I now know that was not her intention, but the impact was how I felt. So do you understand what we're talking about? You know, you understand that though, right? Like how she took it and it made her feel in the moment was not how Sutton meant it, but she only realized that after the fact. And Kyle's like, I think it's a little different though. And Crystal goes, you got to stop, Kyle. And Kyle's like, actually, you have to stop. And Crystal's like, that's enough. And Kyle's like, you keep saying, Crystal's like, I'm saying this is my experience. And Kyle goes, you actually said something that actually didn't exist. And Crystal goes, no, the conversation existed. And she made a public apology towards me because she said she understood how I felt about that. As you apologized to Garcelle because you didn't realize. Kyle goes, but that was a different situation. And Crystal's like, that doesn't have to be clean like yours, okay? Stop making it about how you experienced it. Enough. And Kyle's like, it's not how I experienced it. It's more telling the truth. And Crystal's like, yeah, that's my truth. You don't understand it and you never will. And Kyle's like, you made it. No. And Crystal's like, that's who you are. And Kyle's like, no, that's actually not true. And Crystal goes, you want to make it understood because you don't want to get in trouble. That's why. And Kyle goes, no, that's actually not true. And Crystal says, get real. And Kyle says, we had a very nice conversation and I understood that. Like she said that if I said that, you know, we're actually supposed to talk about these things. And he says, I think that you two are talking about two different things. I think you, Crystal, you're talking about the experience and how you felt. And I think Kyle is talking about the dark comment that was made. You're having two different conversations. And he goes, do either one of you guys believe that anyone here on the cast is racist? And Garcelle's like, no, I don't. He goes, I think we all have a lot to learn. And Garcelle goes, yeah. And Erica's like,
I think the conversation has changed generationally. Your Crystal intentions aren't bad. It's just that things are changing. It's subtle, yet the consequences are big.
Guys, I got to tell you, that was one of the first things that Erica Jane has said that's made sense. Yeah, it is. And that's what it is. And we can't be threatened by that shit, man. Things do change. Things will change. Things should change. We can't be threatened. We are part of the circle of life, as Rob Minkoff, Crystal's husband, has said in a movie called The Lion King. And Renee goes, yep. And Renee, I'm like, shut up. If you don't agree with this at all. And Garcelle goes, yeah, for everybody. And Andy goes, all right, we're going to leave it there and we'll be back with more after this. The off-air sign goes on and goes, okay, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to do one more package, and the package is like the video clips and all that stuff. And then we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to bring Kathy out, okay? Fun. And Garcelle goes, I'm drinking something. I don't give a shit. And Son's like, I'm ready. And Garcelle goes, let's drink. And Chris goes, he said, don't leave. We're not leaving. We just got to do a shot real quick. And Kyle goes, I have to save my energy for what's coming up. We see Kathy being dropped off at the studio, and we see these little slippers come out. And I'm like, holy shit, this is wealth. And Sutton's like, well, this next part is going to be a little tricky dicky. You never even gave me a chance to show you my tricky dicky, Sutton. And Kyle whispers to Andy, where is Kathy sitting? And Andy whispers back, next to you. Kyle's like, I can't believe I'm having coffee at this hour. I'm fucked. And we see Kathy getting out of the vehicle, like I said, with the white slippers, the white house coat, the PJs, pink hearts all over it. I mean, really very relatable. Rinna, I don't wear that though. That's not what I'm saying. I would never wear pink heart pajamas, no matter what you hear from anybody. Just saying that right now. It's not true at all. So Rinna's wandering around like fucking Robert Durst or like somebody who's just like, oh, you gotta do, just tell the truth, Lisa. All I have to do is tell the truth. That's all there is. I don't have to do anything else. It's like, who, who are you performing for? Is it the cameras? Because what are you doing? You're once again a grown lady. Like, just go talk to your friend Erica. But you're like, just tell the truth, Lisa. Yes, you can do it. You've done it before. Keep your head up. The Lord has you. Lois is with us. You can do this, Lisa. Like, come on. Kathy is being led to her dressing room and is like, oh, yeah, I brought my tequila just in case. We already got a tequila plug. I love Kathy. The assistant's like, the infamous tequila. And Kathy's like, if anyone wants to try it. We're still wandering, rambling. And Rinna's like, the truth is the truth. That's all we're doing is telling the truth. What is she? I mean, like, what did she talk? Did you talk this way during sex? You're just going to put it in. Okay. Just put it in slightly. Just a tip. Okay. Yeah. That's all you have to do. And then just go back and Juliana made a note that says she's scared. Also, she's totally psychotic. I don't think she's scared. I think this is a complete fucking show. I think it's an act, like a fucking act. I don't think Rinna's scared at all. Andy announces next week the reunion concludes. I was like, you doing? Yes. And Rinna goes, I was traumatized by what happened in that house. And Andy goes, but seriously, you've seen some shit on the show, Rinna. That was the thing that traumatized you? That was my question. And Andy goes, did you turn the earrings over, Erica?
Yeah,
You're trying to get them back though, right?
we're on appeal for legal reasons.
Well, that means you're in court trying to get them back.
We're on appeal for legal reasons.
Erica just speaks in law talk now, and it's just bullshit. Kathy's brought out on stage. Rinna nor Erica will look at her, and Rinna goes, how would you think I would feel to hear you want to destroy your sister? And Kyle goes, but I also don't want to hear the other things that will destroy my family. And Kathy's like, I never said that. I said other things. And Kathy in her sarcastic Rinna voice, she's really good at voices, by the way. She would be awesome to do a recap with. Do you recall saying to me, I get it. Do you remember those words? And Rinna's like, oopsie. And Kathy's like, do you remember those words? And Andy's like, were you upset with Lisa for bringing it onto the show? And then Kyle screaming in tears, the only one who it hurts here is me. I'm the one who gets fucked. You guys, 3 hours and 21 minutes, baby. We did two episodes. We're caught up now. Next week will be the finale. What can I say? Thank you for that. There's an audience that wanted to hear both of these. I will put the timestamp if you don't want to hear the first part because you've seen it already. But I think there's some really good voice work in that first part. Thank you. If you like the podcast, please leave it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. The Patreon, the YouTube, Maritza Lopez and Sandra Freier. Thank you so much for all of your help. All the Patreon baddies, thank you. Everybody I met at BravoCon, thank you. If you're trying out this show, I understand that it's long. I understand that, but some people seem to enjoy it. So just relax. And now you're at your weekend, you guys. What do we always say? Drink something good, eat something great, dance around, maybe kiss somebody with their permission, of course. Read a book, take a nap, spend some time to yourself, watch something good, watch something not Bravo related, take a walk, ride a bike, go exercising, but just keep it light, maybe take a hike. And I'll see you guys bright and early on Monday for Sophie Ross with the Pop Culture Roundup. Plus I'll be over on the Patreon this weekend. Your boy is busy. Thank you for all of the well wishes this past week. It's been a great week for the show and it's because of you. Bye guys. And it's because of you, YouTube. Goodbye.